So I'm doing some work on my kumquat tree right now. Mostly I am sort of getting the soil out of the roots so I can repot it, because this pot is way too small for this baby. As you can see, the roots have started coming out really far. We've got a few really strong roots, like this guy here, and then loads of really tiny roots, which actually isn't what I expected, but that is what we have. So I've got a stick here, and this is like a wooden stick that I use to pick things out. A lot of people also use chopsticks, but this is what I have. I would prefer not to use my chopsticks, but I just thought we could talk. I'm aware that you can't see my head, so that's not like a mistake or anything. It's just because of where my phone is positioned, it's kind of going to be really difficult for me to actually get both me and the tree in. So you're just going to have to deal with like me being like faceless mostly. But I think my voice carries through. I reckon you can figure out what I look like and what I mean and that sort of stuff. So yeah, how's it going? How you doing? I am so ready for summer, sort of, in like some ways. Not for like the heat, because the heat has been unbearable the past few days. Like, oh my god. And it was 26 degrees the other day, like Celsius. Like, oh my god, what the fuck is that? Like, bro, it was like 21 yesterday. It's probably about 26 again today because it feels really, really hot. I'm not gonna lie, like I'll try and get it so that you guys can see it. There we go. You can see the dirt just falling away. It's mostly falling away onto me though. There we go. Let's have a go here. I need to go to Asda in a second to get a bigger pot for this and to get more soil, because this guy doesn't have enough soil. I need to get some like citrus specific fertilizer basically, because I've been using regular fertilizer on it, which I think is okay because, I mean, it's not dead, but I don't think it's like ideal for it, which obviously is what we want. We want ideal. So I will be going to try and get some of that. I will be going to look at like Wilco's and stuff for bigger pots as well for this guy, because I doubt that Asda will have any. Maybe we will see. But yeah, this poor tree, like some of his branches and stuff started going like black, so I was like, oh yeah, this guy needs something. And checking down here, you can see all of these roots are actually perfectly healthy. Like, there is nothing wrong with these roots. So it's not root rot, which is nice. So I've not been watering him or anything like that, which is always good to hear, because I hate, doing things wrong with plants. It's probably... Okay, so I read about kumquats, and apparently, if you keep them in pots, they need to be in really big pots, because they hate being root-bound, unlike things like succulents, right? And root-bound is basically where, like, their roots are just contained quite a lot. And obviously, with a tree, the bigger... Oh, fuck's sake, it keeps fucking coming out here. You can't see it because it's on the floor, but look how much... And there's, like, so much dirt on the floor. Not the floor. I've got a... You might have noticed the bottles of gin and wine. Basically, I've got, like, a plastic bin bag on the floor right now. And these are just holding it in place. So I'm not just doing it straight on my floor, don't worry. But yeah, so these trees hate being root bound, right? So you have to get them really, really big pots, which I think is what is happening with this guy. I think that's what the problem is. Because the temperature has been the right temperature. They live in cooler climates. I think they originate from China, actually. So they do live in cooler climates. So we're speaking like 18 degrees, that sort of stuff. And this guy's actually been around that temperature pretty much. That's the sort of temperature I keep my room at. So I don't think it's the heat. It does get some wind, but not a lot, and that doesn't really necessarily affect it. A lot of trees actually enjoy being shaken. So that, it can sort of simulate wind. So I don't imagine he'd have any problem with wind, and he doesn't get a lot of it. He gets enough sun, like, trust me, he gets so much sun there, but not too much, it's like bright, indirect light. because this room is very bright, I find, which my plants just fucking love. The fertilizer obviously is something that I need to do, so I do need to get citrus fertilizer, which is fine. I don't mind doing that for my baby. The soil, which is why I'm taking the soil out, is the soil might be old. It might have, like, expired, I guess. If that makes any sense to anybody. Is that apparently one of my friends told me that your soil can expire, so that could be what's happening here. So I don't know. I'm going to do that. I'm going to redo the soil so that the outside of the soil also has some like mulch, just to sort of keep it moist but not wet is the sort of conditions that these guys like. What else? Yeah, I cut all of the dead branches off as well, so that they're not taking up extra space, extra time, extra energy. If there were any dead roots, I would be taking them off right now, but as I say, this guy is actually doing really fucking well in terms of roots. Like, this root system's really fucking healthy. Surprising, but not upsetting, you know. Like, I'm very, very happy this root system's healthy, because that's kind of one of the worst things that can happen, IMO. To, like, a plant that isn't a succulent. If it's a succulent, it's, like, whatever, because you can just, regrow the thing, but obviously with other plants you can't. I just really love this tree. Like, I am such a huge fan of this fucking tree. I love everything about it. I love having it. It's just, it really does, like, bring a lot to my plant collection, I think. Yeah, my plant collection's pretty huge. I've got just under 70, and I did have over 70, but I repotted a bunch, and I put them in the same pot. I'll show you, actually. So, I've got these palm plants. Here they are. Here we go. And I put them all in the same pot. They were originally in quite a few different pots, but I put them all in the same pot. So, as you can see, this is my oldest one. He's a bit, you know, a bit brown at the moment. He probably got a bit burnt somewhere. Seeing these are the really big ones, and then I've got all the little ones at the front. I sort of put the big ones in the middle, and then the little ones on, like, the outer sides, so that it could sort of grow in a very, like, bush-like fashion. There we go. So yeah, that's why I have under 70 and not over 70 now. It's purely because of repotting, not because I have less plants. If anything, I think I have maybe have more plants. Also, I repotted a lot of my mint. I was propagating a lot of mint, and I put that in with my original mint plant, my you know, my mother plant, and I put them sort of around the outside as well, the younger plants around the outside, so that they could grow, sort of, you know, form like a stronger, bigger bush sort of thing. I'm going to continue doing that around sort of the outside of the plant, just so that I can get sort of like a really big, bushy sort of plant. I'm going to have to hoover so much because a lot of this is just not going on the bin bag that I put down. I tried so hard. My partner always gets on with me about this. He's always like, you get so much dirt on the floor from all these plants, you need to, like, put something down so you don't get dirt everywhere, or like in the sink, because I do a lot of it over the sink, which I know is really bad, because then you have to sort of get the dirt out of the sink before it sort of like clogs up your pipes or whatever, but I do a lot of it in the sink as well, and he's always like, bro, you need to stop you need to stop doing this, which I agree, I do, I need to be better, which is why I put the bin bag down. To be fair, I tried my best. Oh dear. Yeah, I actually had these two, I have these really cute little guys that sit in the plant pot. It's a rabbit and a fox. I think they're really, really cute. This is going to take forever, so I'm not going to record for the entire time that I'm doing this. I just thought it'd be fun to sort of sit here and do this with you. you know, just talk to you, catch up a bit. Because, like I said, I'm trying to put out more content, you know. I want to just, you know, I don't even know why. I just, yeah, I think it's just a nice way. It's a nice thing to do. It's a nice way to be creative, you know. In a time when I'm unable to be creative in ways that I would typically prefer, so drawing, playing guitar, things like that. Although obviously playing guitar is a part of this, it's a really, really big part of this channel, and singing is a big part of this channel. So is reading out. Now, okay, right, I'm gonna let you in a little secret. Okay, so you can't tell anybody this, but on my, because I have a podcast, I have finished chapter 1 of my podcast. I think it's either already finished or it finishes this Sunday. So that's chapter 1 done. There are 10 stories in each chapter. I am going to be doing more chapters, I promise. But in between the 2 chapters, because I will have to write all of the stories for the next chapter, I still have to write a lot of them, because I'm not quite finished yet. So between you know, chapter 1 and chapter 2, I may be doing an interview. One of my really good friends will be interviewing me about the podcast, and that will be like a little bonus episode, and I'll probably do that after each chapter. You know, I have plans to do a lot of this. Like, I love this podcast. I think it's really sweet. I think it's cute. It's something I really like putting myself into, you know, and it's something that I've wanted to do for a while. I've wanted to do a podcast for ages, you know, and a lot of my friends really like it, and it makes people happy, and there's nothing more that I could want out of an art form. So I really enjoy it, and I want to do more. And yeah, so there will be a bonus episode. So yeah, I am really excited about that. Alright, I am going to let you go because I have a lot more to do, but look at this! We have done so much in such little time. Alright, I'll see you in a bit. Bye bye.